Ariana Grande snags $13.7 million Hollywood Hills mansion. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to Millionaire Hideouts. And click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Pop music's global superstar Ariana Grande has one less problem on her plate, as it were. After years of renting various Los Angeles mansions and a seemingly endless house hunt, she's finally found a permanent home in the city. Set high above LA's iconic Sunset Strip, in an exclusive neighborhood known as the Bird Streets, the new perch ran her $13.7 million and includes more than 10,000 square feet of ultra-contemporary living space. Despite the home's slew of impressive amenities, the purchase is nonetheless a surprising move for Grande, particularly given that the property isn't very private. From the streets below the house, the entire structure is nothing if not conspicuous, with almost every room openly on display. And it sits hard up on the street out front, too, with the front entryway mere inches from cars and pedestrians. Although the spec-built house has never been occupied, it was actually completed a full 2 years ago, back in summer 2018. Since then, it's languished on and off the market, with a variety of price tags that started at $25.50 and eventually plummeted to $17.495 million. The property was developed by Woodbridge, a now-defunct investment group and Ponzi scheme fronted by a man named Robert Shapiro. But even at a heavily discounted $13.7 million, this is still one of the priciest homes sold in the Hollywood Hills so far this year. And it's situated in arguably the best neighborhood pocket around, where some of the nearby homeowners include Leo DiCaprio, Keanu Reeves, Bobby Flay and several Walmart heiresses. From the street, sturdy metal doors open into an atrium that leads, in turn, to an all-glass front door. Beyond are public living areas, with voluminous walls of glass overlooking the surrounding hills. An expansive kitchen boasts designer meal appliances and custom cabinets, while a double-sided fireplace effectively divides the living and dining rooms. Wheat-colored hardwood floors flow throughout the three-level house, including into the decadent master suite, which encompasses the entire top floor. The master bath is slathered in imported stone, and offers dual vanities, toilets and a single shower with dual rainfall showerheads. There's also a private terrace, a sitting, lounge area, and a boutique-style closet with track lighting that can easily accommodate the needs of even the most hardcore fashionistas. The property's lower level, meanwhile, packs in a gym, a so-called wellness center with sauna, a wine closet capable of storing hundreds of bottles, a home theater and a lavish bar that wouldn't look out of place in a fancy nightclub. Like many other homes in the surrounding hills, Grande's new estate doesn't have much of a yard or any landscaping to speak of, really. But off the south side of the lot is a large patio for al fresco entertaining, plus an L-shaped infinity pool that takes advantage of the property's tremendous views of the LA basin. And for the last few years, Grande and her team of assistants, bodyguards and various glam squad members have bunked up in a leased mansion elsewhere in Los Angeles. That Mediterranean-style property, located on a quiet cul-de-sac in the mountains above Beverly Hills, has more than 10,000 square feet and views over neighboring Benedict Canyon. Toma Friedman, Adam Rosenfeld and Sally Forster-Jones of Compass jointly held the listing. Aaron Kerman of Compass Aaron Kerman Group represented Grande. Former Britney Spears mansion sells for $6.1 million. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to Millionaire Hideouts. And click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Singer Britney Spears became a hot commodity in the music business during her heyday. Although she's seen better times in her life and her career, memories of her infamous former LA mansion still remain. The previous home of the superstar Spears has been listed for sale, according to The Dirt. It's priced at an astronomical $6.1 million as of February 10, 2021. The mansion is situated on the summit in Los Angeles, California. Construction on the home was completed in 2001. Jeff Friedman is the seller of the 7,453 square feet home. It's an opulent mansion featuring 6 bedrooms and 6.5 bathrooms. Spears purchased the home for $6.75 million in January of 2007. Within a month, the home was back on the market as Spears had what appeared to be a breakdown. A month after occupying the home, she went to a salon and had her head shaved completely, then a week later, beat the car of a paparazzo with her umbrella. The incident was caught on camera. Things seemed to spiral further downward after that. She was hard into the party scene with known partiers Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton. Her family had her placed on a 2-week psychiatric hold, and by the following year, she found herself in a conservatorship, unable to handle her own affairs. The initial asking price for the mansion was $7.5 million. She didn't return to the mansion but instead rented various homes out of the Los Angeles area. She eventually put down roots in a rural area of Thousand Oaks, California. The first and second sale of Britney's mansion. In 2012, long after being vacant, the mansion eventually sold. The purchaser was Jeff Friedman, a venture capitalist from Australia. He got it for a good deal for a mere $4.3 million. Spears took a loss of almost $2.5 million in the deal. Friedman just recently flipped the home for a whopping $6.1 million, which was still less than what Spears had paid for the property. It was an investment that lost Britney Spears a few million and earned the VC pro nearly $2 million. According to People, Spears bought the mansion in 2007 after she filed for divorce from her ex Kevin Federline. She lived there until 2012 before vacating the home due to her personal and family issues. Conflicting statements about the original asking price range from $7.5 million to $9 million. The home did not sell immediately after Friedman listed it with Josh and Matt Altman of Douglas Elliman Real Estate. The original listing price was $6.8 million. The buyer negotiated the price down to $6.1 million for the final selling price. Friedman didn't get hurt in the deal as he was able to pick it up for a cost that was below its market value. The home recently closed on February 7, 2021. Britney had an issue with the paparazzi. Years after Britney's unfortunate incident and outburst with the paparazzi, it begins to become apparent that she had a real problem with photographers imposing into her personal life. The more interesting and famous she became, the harder they tried to photograph and talk about everything she said and did. Britney couldn't go out in public without someone snapping pictures and creating a story about her. Like most celebrities, she had traded her privacy for fame. Soon, her fame turned to notoriety as she fought back against these invasions in her private life. The former mansion of Britney Spears was designed to be paparazzi-proof. The property is situated in a gated community. In a double gating design, the home itself is surrounded by yet another protective barrier to keep out unwanted intruders. No part of the home can be seen from outside the gates unless you are flying overhead and taking aerial shots. Spears also maintained a security team on the premises and they stayed in a detached guest house on the grounds. She took her privacy very seriously. Where is Britney now? According to the New York Post, Spears is currently living in a home in Thousand Oaks that is valued at $7.4 million. She is hiding out after the release of her documentary, Framing Britney Spears. She stays out of the public eye since fans caught wind of the fact that her father holds guardianship papers. Britney owns the Hideaway and has spent her time there since the breakout of the pandemic. She's still active on social media, posting her dance routines. She is currently dating Sam Asghari, age 27, who has been seen on her Instagram posts. She lives in a 5-bedroom, 8-bath home that measures 13,264 square feet. The home sits on 21 acres of land. Spears is still concerned about paparazzi and her current home is well protected with 2 private gates for security and to keep prying eyes at bay. She has some of the most beautiful views from her new home. The toxic star of the music world is living her life at the age of 39 and doing her best to stay out of the limelight after turbulent several past years. Final thoughts. Britney Spears has amazing taste when it comes to her choice of home environments. Her first mansion was a learning experience as she took a huge loss at its resale. There is no need to worry about her though. Spears has found another larger and more spectacular home in which she has been riding out the pandemic. We're still waiting to hear news about her conservatorship, but it appears that she has finally secured the privacy that she strongly desires and values. Let's hope that after all her struggles, she will be able to move on to a more normal life after the country begins to open up. Inside the $2.3 million holiday house where Cristiano Ronaldo is self-quarantining. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to Millionaire Hideouts. And click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Nestled in a private country club amidst the sun-lit shores of Marbella. In the grand scheme of his career, Cristiano Ronaldo, arguably one of the top players ever to set foot on a football pitch, hasn't been long out of Spain. He's barely been at his new club Juventus for a year. But his heart still clearly lies on the Iberian Peninsula, as indicated by his recent desire purchase of a brand new pad set to host his family on their holidays to Spain's glittering Costa del Sol coastline. The house reportedly set Ronaldo back a rather modest, relatively speaking, $2.3 million AUD, and was built by the Otero Group, a luxury villa developer. That may seem like a rather small figure for a footballer who has routinely featured in Forbes' list of the world's highest-paid athletes for the last decade. The Portuguese forward reportedly pulled in $109 million alone last year. But according to those in the know, the holiday house forms just a small part of a $47 million property portfolio owned by Ronaldo, which also includes a home in his club's hometown of Turin, an apartment in New York City's Trump Tower, and a pad in La Finca, where he lived during his days at Real Madrid. The Sun, so take this with a grain of salt, reports that Ronaldo now has his heart set on the villa you see here, which sits in The Heights, a luxury development adjacent to La Resina Golf and Country Club estate. Dubbed the superstar's cul-de-sac, the area is also reportedly home to Conor McGregor. Otero, a renowned luxury developer, are known for kitting out their villas with all the mod cons. It's likely that Ronaldo's new villa would have features like a built-in theater, LED driveways and an infinity pool. Inside, it's of course a picture of sleek, modern luxury, with an open-plan living, kitchen and dining area, an outdoor dining area, a spacious garden, and vast bedrooms with walk-in wardrobes. It's also just a short distance from the actual Mediterranean Sea, if Ronaldo feels like kicking it with the flocks of English tourists that descend on the Costa del Sol every European summer. The Rock is fortunate enough to lead a globetrotting lifestyle, and his movie career takes him to lots of amazing places around the world. When filming for his action movie, Hobbs and Shaw, a spin-off from the Fast and Furious film franchise, The Rock found himself in London. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to Millionaire Hideouts. And click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. He was spending so much time in the UK he figured he might as well move there for as long as the movie took to shoot. The Rock moved himself into this 9-bedroom mansion to live a life of luxury while filming. Living the posh life. If The Rock was going to be spending lots of time in England, then he might as well become accustomed to the way of life. While not everyone in the UK can afford to roam around on horseback, if you've got money, then you move to the countryside. That means rolling fields, fresh air, and horseback riding. It looks as though The Rock threw himself into his latest role, portraying an English gentleman. Everywhere The Rock goes he seems to make friends, and this horse is his latest pal. Installing his own gym. The Rock is obsessed with fitness, and even when away from home, he doesn't take a break. In fact, The Rock goes out of his way to make wherever he's staying feel more like home by installing his most loved room in any house, the personal gym. The only difference between this iron paradise and the one in The Rock's permanent home is the Union Jack flag of the UK on the wall. The Rock, being a proud American, also hung the United States flag to remind him of home. Still works out. The gym installation wasn't just for aesthetics, and The Rock made sure he used it as much as possible. Considering he was starring alongside fellow action star Jason Statham in Hobbs and Shaw, The Rock had to make sure he was in top shape. He always stays in shape though, and being one of the highest grossing actors in the world really pays off. It means he can afford to ship in a complete gym to suit every fitness need the actor has. Lost in the English countryside. The house that The Rock stayed in during his stay in the UK was right in the middle of the English countryside. That means wherever The Rock looked out of his window he was surrounded by nature. There were plenty of famous faces for The Rock to rub shoulders with in the lush Richmond part of London. Other celebrities living in the area include Tom Hardy, Richard E. Grant, legendary singer Rick Astley, and nature documentary maker David Attenborough. Huge kitchen. One thing The Rock is known for is having a huge appetite, and in his UK pad his kitchen definitely matches the size of his stomach. While The Rock was staying in the UK, he celebrated Thanksgiving by sharing pictures of his turkey dinner. It's safe to say this kitchen was fit for bringing that feast to life, and we're sure The Rock didn't have to spend the famous American holiday alone. The Rock follows a strict protein-high diet, which this kitchen is perfect for maintaining. The British study. They say when in Rome you should do as the Romans do, and The Rock seems to be following that advice. This is his very British study, which allows him to do all of his paperwork and line rehearsals. Film stars are always looking for their next role, and in this study, The Rock can look over the job offers sent to him by his agent. He might even love staying in his UK home so much he finds another job there and makes the move permanent. Like an art gallery. This room appears to be the entrance hall to The Rock's London home, and it sets the tone for the rest of the property. It's very grand, and if you didn't know this room was in someone's home, you could easily mistake it for an art gallery. The high ceiling and wide open space make it feel like a room that's there to be appreciated. It's also cozy enough that if The Rock wanted to entertain guests, it would make the perfect spot to host a party. One of 5 living rooms. There are 9 bedrooms in this property, but also 5 different living rooms too. Working on an action movie is bound to be pretty tiring, especially when you consider The Rock is probably the lead actor in the film. That means every day is filled with stunts and car chases and fights. All of that can be very taxing on your body, so it's important The Rock has somewhere he can unwind from it all. This luxurious living area is perfect for chilling out, especially on the giant sofa. Relaxing in the pool. If The Rock is really struggling to move from his grueling movie schedule, there is always the swimming pool for him to relax in. In fact, just like with other parts of the house, there is a choice of swimming pool for The Rock. There are 2 swimming pools in this mansion, and this one is not just a token effort. There's plenty of room for The Rock to swim laps and get in a good cardio workout without feeling like a goldfish in a tiny bowl. Getting the popcorn out. The chances are, if The Rock loves working as an actor, then he's into watching movies too. In the downtime from his schedule, The Rock could take a time out and watch as many movies as he wanted in this theater. All The Rock has to do is warm up the popcorn and pick a movie, then he can put his feet up and enjoy the show. While this London mansion might have been The Rock's home for a short period, we're betting he had a great time here. Sleeping like a baby. At the end of a hard day being the most popular movie star in the world, The Rock needs somewhere to get some shut-eye. This luxurious bedroom comes with a giant bed that's big enough even for The Rock. There is also a fireplace to keep the room cozy, as the UK's weather is much cooler than what The Rock might be used to in Hollywood. Even though his stay in the UK wasn't permanent, The Rock stuck to the luxurious lifestyle he's become accustomed to as a megastar. Drake's $100 million mansion looks like a hotel. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to Millionaire Hideouts. And click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Drake caught the internet's attention when he dropped the visuals for Toosie Slide, however, it was his house that really stole the show. Now a new profile by Architectural Digest takes us even further into Drake's extravagant multi-million-dollar Toronto mansion, also known as the Embassy, but Twitter isn't exactly impressed. Speaking to AD, Champagne Papi explained the inspiration behind his manor's lavish design. "Because I was building it in my hometown, I wanted the structure to stand firm for 100 years, he noted. It will be one of the things I leave behind, so it had to be timeless and strong. The ostentatious mansion is completely done up in Drake's over-the-top style. It's overwhelming high luxury. That message is delivered through the size of the rooms and the materials and details of the floors and the ceilings. I wanted to make sure people can see the work I've put in over the years reflected from every vantage point," the Toronto native explained. On the occasion of Drake opening his doors, we rounded up everything there is to know about Drake's extravagant multi-million-dollar Toronto mansion, also known as the Embassy. A closer look at the Embassy. Drake spared no expense on his Toronto residence, so it makes sense why he'd want to show it off. The mega mansion features an NBA-sized basketball court, a bathroom that plays soft music when you enter, and much more. The property is so ostentatious that it even has DJ Khaled green with envy. It cost him approximately $100 million. Drake purchased the sprawling $6.7 million piece of land in northeast Toronto's exclusive Bridle Path area, also known as Millionaire's Row, in 2018, and built a 50,000-square-foot palace on it constructed entirely of limestone. The property is surrounded by tall 4.4-meter fences for optimum privacy and security, which Drake had to ask permission for, as the city's law states no residential fence can exceed 2 meters in height. Drizzy recruited Ontario-based luxury home designer and builder Ferris Raffauli for the enormous undertaking. In form, materials, and execution, the structure is a proper 19th-century limestone mansion. But the exterior profiles are more minimal and the lines are a bit cleaner, says Raffauli. The interior is very, well, Drake. Raffauli describes the interiors as modern Art Deco. The design is very lush, running with a monochrome grey, black and white color scheme. It boasts roaring fireplaces, huge chandeliers, gold ornaments, and marble floors and fixtures. The furnishings throughout the home were all custom designed by Raffauli in materials ranging from dyed ostrich skin and mohair to Macassar and bronze. The crib features an OVO-branded NBA regulation-size basketball court, done up in dark colors, which DJ Khaled gave fans a glimpse of during one of his visits. Drake already featured his private court in the video for Money in the Grave. Can we talk about the musical toilet? Another interesting feature of Drake's mansion is his musical toilet. During a tour of his house on Instagram stories, the rapper showed off the automated water closet, which unfolds and plays soothing music when you enter. It's filled with insane memorabilia. We know Drake loves to own and show off rare collector's pieces, be it NBA championship rings or erotic watches. So it's no surprise that the rapper's home is filled to the brim with bizarre collectibles and memorabilia. The rapper even owns a bespoke concert grand piano by the venerable piano maker Bosendorfer, designed in collaboration with Japanese artist Takashi Murakami and Raffauli.